It is the morning sports desk for Friday, April 12th. I'm CJ Baumgartner. There's Corey Tackman. And as part of our activities director check-in, we're talking with Matt Moen of Pillager High School. He's checking in with us today. Hey, Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us.
Matt, happy to have you along here again today. Spring sports now officially, I guess, kind of in full swing. Must be nice just from the AD's perspective. Knock on wood, we're not going to jinx anything. The weather's been fairly accommodating.
Yeah, that snowstorm we could have avoided, or we would have had a record start date this year. But no, I think 9 days early this year from my first 3 years as the AD. So for getting games going. So yeah, we'll take it. Hopefully the rain stays away or just rains at night, and that's all good.
Let's start with the kids who probably and always usually do get the quickest jump on the spring sports season. Track and field. What's Huskies track and field looking like in 2024?
Busy. Our numbers are good. We have about 80 kids out, 7 through 12 for boys and girls track. And historically our track programs have always had pretty consistent numbers. They've competed. We've had a lot of our girls are returning from last year. We had a lot of state entrants led by Violet Metz. They're competing every meet that they're in. We hosted our first varsity meet last night, and I haven't gotten the results on it yet. But our numbers are good, and we have a lot. Our coaches are fairly confident and feel that they should have quite a few that should be competing for section titles, and hopefully having a chance to go down to state meet this summer.
Moving things along, let's talk about the Husky softball team. How are things looking up for them?
So they have one game in. Again, they bring back everybody from last year's team, and we have a very dominant pitcher with Brianna Blaze back. She's battling a little bit of a shoulder injury right now. They dropped their first game to Sabika on Tuesday. They have a doubleheader tonight at home with Wadena. They bring back an experienced crew and are looking to, I know their goal is to be able to compete for a section championship this year and make it to that game. And if they're healthy and willing and they put in the time, and they're also very excited because the complex in the back now, that's all. You guys will like it if you come and do games now. We have a press box for you.
Yeah, nice.
So, all right. We've updated the softball field with the stereo system and announcing and bleachers, and we have the windscreens out there, and it's a nice, very nice complex now, and we're excited to host some things and take care of you guys when you come out and cover the teams, and you're not getting rained on if the weather turns. Phone's going off there. So,
Matt, I saw too. Coach Janicki got a nice milestone the other day.
Yes. He says that he is older than dirt when you talk to him, but he's our assistant coach, and he just coached in his 1,000th game.
Wow!
Combined for baseball and softball. So. He's been doing it for a while. Does a good job. The girls all love him, and we're fortunate to have him.
What's the early season outlook on Pillager Husky baseball?
They are playing really well right now. They're 2-0. They went up to Sabika on Tuesday and pitched a no-hitter, and then won 9-0. They played a section opponent last night, Royalton, and they won 1-0 in 9 innings. And Eli Miller pitched a 9-inning shutout and gave up 2 hits, and I think he had 102 pitches or something like that. So they're very similar to the softball team. We bring our whole starting lineup back, and we have some pitching, and so they are section 6 is brutal for softball and baseball. There's some very high quality teams there, and I know our coaching staff feels that they can hopefully compete with echelon teams this year. Their goal too is to get that section championship game and give it a run, and they're off to a good start. They play in Wadena tonight, so it'll be another good test for them tonight.
Should be a good Park Region Conference game too, especially because we'll have that one on the air tonight on the Superstation. I'm looking forward to heading over to that. It should be a really, really nice baseball game tonight.
Yeah, it should be. So they're looking forward to it. So I think we changed it. It's a 4:30 start time too tonight. So
excellent.
And so what else is no, Corey, go ahead.
I was going to ask the question you're going to ask, so go ahead.
What else do you have going on over at Pillager? What other activities are going on? I know some are kind of on the tail end and some are ramping up for the spring. What else is going on at Pillager that we missed?
So boys and girls golf, they'll get started on Monday with their first meet. We have 21 golfers out for boys and girls, grades 7 through 12. And they bring back, the boys have 4 or 5 pretty experienced golfers returning. And our girls golf team is very young, but they all had varsity experience last year. And so they're hoping to be able to compete. They've been very excited because their golf program fundraised and bought a very nice golf simulator that we have in the school now that the staff also enjoy in the winter months as well. But so we have kids on that thing all the time, and you can pull up like 3,000 different golf courses in the country, and they can play whatever course they want, local courses to Augusta. And they can do it in our old stage area in the elementary cafeteria. And so it's where they've been excited about that, and, just having those opportunities. And then we also had our high school musical was last weekend. So they did the high school musical, the Disney high school musical. And so that was very well attended. Had almost sellout shows every single night. So they did an awesome job with that. Let's see what else we have. The one act is competing Saturday. We had 4 or 5 individuals advance to the section meet Saturday in Naga.
Our hard start.
And then it's busy. It's a lot of. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but it's a lot of different opportunities for the kids, and they're staying busy.
Well, Matt, I was actually perusing through the Pillager Facebook page. I know you've got prom coming up right around the corner,
Yes.
but the thing I'm most interested about that I saw is this Ninja Anywhere. Is that happening in the elementary school? What's that about?
Yeah, so they're updating the elementary playground to get some more newer equipment so that all the kids have an opportunity to be able to play on the equipment. And right now it's not the most handicap accessible area back there, and so they are doing kind of a Kickstarter to raise some of the money. And they've never really done anything like this. And our elementary principal, Mr. Smith, has been willing to be the scapegoat for some things. And so he slept on the roof of the building the other night. There was talk of throwing water balloons up at him that evening, but we did not get any of that done. Now he's got to shave I think last I checked in, that was a 25,000 goal that he would sleep on the roof. If they did 35,000, he's got to shave his head, and I think they're at 37 or 38 last time I checked in. If they get to 50, I want to say that I think we have most of the entire elementary staff are going to do a sleepover in the elementary school. So it's just taken off like wildfire, and they've done a good job of promoting that, and good community support behind that as well. So.
And you talk about the community support and all that coming through, and you guys have went through a lot of renovations just over the last 10 years, 15 years of Pillager, but especially for spring sports in the last 5-ish years with the baseball fields and now the softball fields and making some of those updates and all that. What does it say to the school and the community that you guys are being able to reinvest in all this and make sure that they're as strong as can be for the kids?
Yeah, we like to provide those opportunities. Our community, the school board, Mr. Malmberg, they've all been very supportive of updating our facilities. If you've been to Pillager, don't email me. I know that the parking is awful, especially for spring activities and if there's a track meet. But the actual facilities that the kids are using, they are, I feel, one of the nicer, facilities with the updates. Our track, we've resurfaced the track. The new bleacher system for football and track, the LED lights, the pits. They've gotten new hurdles, the discus cage. That's all been updated. The baseball, softball complexes have all gotten a facelift, and just it's a commitment. We have a lot of kids here. The enrollment goes up about 3% every year, and I think part of that too is because of the facilities and the opportunities that we provide, and you take care of things. I'm a big proponent of activities is what people see. That's what's bringing the most people into the school. And if you have things that are well taken care of and that look presentable and that are nice, that says very good things about your school system. And now with all the upgrades back there, when we're with that, we're hosting a lot of stuff now too. For the first time ever, we're hosting the section track meet here on May 30th. Section 5A is going to use. We can't do the championship game, but I think they're going to do some of the early round neutral site games will be played on our softball field. So I think other communities see kind of the commitment to our programs. Our JV field too, if you've ever been over to the JV softball field, it's never had a fence. And that also serves, because we're a little landlocked here. We don't have anywhere else to put stuff. It also serves as our throwing area for the discus and the shot put. It's also our practice football field, and it's also our JV and junior high practice field for softball. And there's a hill out in right field where if you hit a ball to right and it goes down that hill, you're guaranteed you could probably run the bases probably 3 times. So we did buy like a portable fencing system now so that they'll actually have a fence out there to prevent that. And it's just kind of just taking care of what you have and, trying to update what you have. And it's an exciting time to be at Pillager, and, it's a fun time, and yeah, it's cool to be able to offer those things. So they know not every school is able to do those things. And, we're fortunate here to have that commitment.
Well, Matt, it's super cool that you're able to tell us about all this stuff and what's happening at Pillager here this spring. Of course, we look forward to having the Huskies on our airwaves this afternoon, Husky baseball. That'll be a 4:30 start time, like you said, on the Superstation K106. And we just look forward to following the Huskies all spring season long. We think it's going to be a fun season for them.
Yes, thank you guys for all the coverage and the support, and we appreciate all you guys do. And if you ever need a water or anything, make sure I try to get you guys covered when you're here. So let me know if you ever need anything. So thank you guys for everything.
Corey, that was Pillager Activities Director Matt Moen joining us on the morning sports desk. And as we do with all these AD interviews, give me your debriefing. What do you think about everything Matt had to say?
So I'm sure you felt this way, CJ. You and I are very similar in a lot of different ways. I think this is one of them. I liked and felt very kind of involved in my high school. Mm-hmm. I was involved in a lot of different things. It was very important to me personally. My parents were educators in the building. It was just really important to me, and school in general, athletics, activities, being in the classrooms. The teachers were family friends. Obviously, my friends were all there. And school life to me in general is just always been very important in being around that stuff. So one of my favorite things about talking to all of these ADs, and Matt showed it again here in this conversation, is how proud they are to be in that school district and be a part of what they have going on. And I agree with him a lot about his, the activities are the things that the people see. You can't just show up on a Monday afternoon and sit in the math room or the science lab or a choir rehearsal, right. What I mean? But you can get an idea, accurate or inaccurate, about what's happening in the school by superficially what the building looks like and what the facilities look like. That's the world I grew up in. It's something I just believe to be very important. And, there are we all know there are facilities that, it's like putting makeup on a pig, like, oh, cool, it looks good, but what else you got going on here? Mm-hmm. But to be, I think, perfectly frank, pretty much every school has pretty much mostly excellent teachers, right, and excellent faculty, and excellent kids, and excellent involvement. Everybody, you can give or take a little bit, but generally speaking, it's all really good. So it's fun to see someone like Matt be like, we're accentuating those sorts of things in our facilities, and we've got really good things going on here. And you can't see that on a day-to-day basis. So the fact that you can come in and you can see that we care about our kids and the softball fields look good because of it. And hopefully you can take that one step farther and go, if we care about the activities, which are important, how do you think we actually care about them in the building? Because we care about them there too. This is the way we can show you. I love stuff like that. That is something I have in my core, the way I grew up, being a child of teachers and around school all the time. So I appreciate that and love when we get to talk to these ADs who they're just totally in on it, man. They're just totally in on what Pillager is bringing to the community. I really appreciate that outlook.
Yeah, it's really great. And I think, obviously, like we talked about, a lot of schools have a lot of good things going for them. So this isn't to put one in a big class above the other, but 14, 15 years since they put that new addition on the school and built the new gym and slowly kind of reinvested in all the activities around. I always enjoy going to Pillager to call a basketball game. I've enjoyed going to Pillager to call softball games. And I'm really glad about the press box because I got rained on during the section playoffs last year for Monaga. So awesome. And like you talked about, like it's little things and it's selfish on our part when we talk about they're looking out for the press guys too in the box, but that's important. And like, it shows that you care enough in your facilities to want to accommodate people and to want to do that. And a lot of schools around here do. This isn't to say that they're the only ones, but
no, we are very lucky. We're
very lucky
from the selfish perspective. We get very lucky in how we're treated.
Yeah, the ADs spoil us, but you don't need to tell them that too loudly. Otherwise, we don't want to start kicking back or something like that. So right. we got a reputation to keep up.
But the water's great, but a bag of peanut M&Ms wouldn't hurt either.
Exactly. If we a little pregame spread, we could get that going. But anyway, yeah, I mean, overall it's good. These AD interviews that we've done all school year long have been awesome, and it's really, really cool to get to check back in and all the things going on. But that gets us into our next point, Corey, is talking about Wadena, Deer Creek, and Pillager baseball. Both teams off to good starts on the season, and both teams looking to try and compete in 2A. Both teams feel like they've got some good baseball to be played this year. It's going to be a fun one from the Wadena Deer Creek baseball field. I don't have the Park Region Conference standings a year ago pulled up, but Pillager and Wadena Deer Creek were towards the top. Those were two teams that were very good in the PRC, and are going to be good again this year. And it's one of those early season primers like we talked about for Monaga and Wadena Deer Creek softball. It's not necessarily going to dictate the rest of the season for either team how this game goes, but it's a nice, you get into the season and you get one of those games right away to kind of raise that intensity level. And with everybody getting to be out onto the field early, you get to have those matchups early instead of, it's an important game, but it's in the middle of May, in the middle of a 5-game week where we don't have time to focus on how nice of a game this can be because we have so many other games built on top of that. So that's going to be, it's going to be a good one.
I love these early season litmus test games. And especially in spring sports when the weather is accommodating, because obviously it's a conference game. So that is important in and of itself, but you also are each team gets to learn a little bit about themselves also, right? There's going to be practice time. There's going to be things that you as a coach, you just know you'll be able to take into practice on Monday or Tuesday or whenever it is that you practice again. So these games are important for standing purposes. Obviously you clearly want to win them because they're conference, but important games early also help you prepare for the rest of the season and help you learn how to prepare for the rest of the season. Our bunting's not good. Our bunting's not where it needs to be. We needed one. We couldn't get one. Let's work on it. Those sorts of things. Excited to have that one on the air again. You'll have the play-by-play of that one, CJ, a half hour later than originally scheduled. So that means a 4:15 pregame with a 4:30 first pitch on 105.9 FM, the Superstation K106, WDenaRadio.com, and the Superstation K106 app.
Yeah, they changed the game time, but some idiot decided to just put the graphic out anyways of our broadcast schedule.
Sure.
So I think we need to fire that guy. I think that's where
never really liked him in the first place.
No, who did? Honestly, I think it'll be addition by subtraction. We get rid of that guy. who may or may not be me. Anyway, so that's where things look for that. One last thing, and then we'll call it a weekend, is the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to have Karl-Anthony Towns come back tonight.
Yeah.
Of course, a tough loss on Wednesday, but the bright side is they got 2 games to steer the ship, and you get your second best player back, your third best player back, depending on how you view the Rudy Ant situation. He's your part of your big 3, and he comes back, gives the Wolves some much needed offensive firepower. What exactly are your expectations for Karl-Anthony Towns in these final 2 games, Corey?
I just need him to get into shape. It's been a month or so. Like, get into game shape, knock down some buckets, try to stay healthy. It's pretty much, I think, an inevitability now. They're going to be the 3 seed.
It's looking pretty
losing to Denver like that. Their schedule the rest of the way is easy. Oklahoma City stays at home. I think their schedule was pretty easy. If the
Wolves
correctly.
win out, they get the 2 seed. I think that's basically what it is.
So they do hold a tiebreaker with
over
OKC?
The Thunder. Yes, because it goes to divisional record and conference record, and the Wolves are better.
So it's in play, but that they've got a Phoenix matchup to end the season, which is not ideal.
And if Phoenix is trying to escape the play-in, or they're still playing for seeding.
Exactly. So the Timberwolves still have something to play for, which is really important. For Karl, it's getting into game shape, knocking down open buckets. His shooting and offensive, it's the thing that this team is missed all year long, right? They get a little disjointed offensively from time to time. And if he can knock down some open buckets for this team down the stretch, the Timberwolves are legit.
Mm-hmm.
They're just legit. And if they can find some level of consistency, offensively speaking, is this going to be fun?
Right. And there's some Timberwolves stats and just kind of what a championship NBA team looks like. And there's some stats that we can break down next week while we're waiting for that playoff matchup that I think will be a really fun conversation to have. But for now, in those final 2 games, can Cat get his legs underneath him? The biggest thing will be that once you start the playoffs, there are no back-to-backs. You get a generous amount of rest between games. So that also goes in Karl-Anthony Towns' favor as well, is you can kind of give it your all because you're not going to have to get on a plane and go play the very next night in Denver or something like that. So that'll help out the Timberwolves as well. And Karl-Anthony Towns, this team needs shooting. They need some point scoring. And everybody's like, well, yeah, but Naz Reid in the starting lineup. It's like, well, then Naz Reid can come off the bench and score all those points. Like, there's nothing to stop him. It's not because he comes off the bench, he's all of a sudden not going to score those points. And Karl-Anthony Towns is the Wolves' best 3-point shooter. And that's just going to help them out in so many ways. It's going to make them one man deeper for the playoffs. I know benches shrank, but still, it just raises the Wolves' talent level. And in the NBA, you need to have talent. And that's where the Wolves are. That's where
they're talented and they're deep. But if anybody's concerned about Naz Reid, they're just not paying attention. That guy's going to play a lot, and he's going to be very important, and has been and is very important.
Right. And as we've mentioned, the minutes will probably look similar for Naz because they're not going to throw Karl-Anthony. He's going to start, but they might not give him the starter level minutes. They're going to give him, they're going to ease Karl-Anthony Towns into it.
Yeah, I don't know what his minutes average is, and it's probably not going to be off that by very much. They just don't need to. They don't need to be careful with his knee. He's been cleared. The knee's fine. It's just quite literally lungs and getting Karl back into games and understanding that he's probably not going to get a foul call. Just some of those things that you have to. You don't want to have the first playoff game be the opportunity to lose your cool, so to speak.
Did you see there was a video, and this will be the last point I'll make. There was a video, not in the Wolves game against Denver, but in the one against Washington on Tuesday night, where Karl-Anthony Towns is talking to the ref in street clothes, and he's talking about something, and you can just see the ref start to laugh. So who's to say that Cat doesn't like the refs and the refs don't like Cat? They seem pretty chummy talking.
Have you come across any of the Jeff Teague stuff that goes viral?
Some of the stuff, yeah. Is there something recent?
Well, I've I've come across it more than once, and it's not a story I feel comfortable sharing on here for the internet forever, even though he said the story. But he's got a story.
Is it the one about the referee
and his bringing his mom and sister?
Yeah, I know that's. Yeah,
So
go
good.
look at if you're interested, go look it up. We're not going to disseminate that information on here.
Jeff Teague, all-time great storyteller.
That guy is the epitome.
Yeah, his story about
should be.
His story about Luka is so good. Have you seen that one? Luka's
I don't
a
think
rookie.
I've seen that one.
Luka's a rookie, and he knows one of the guys on Dallas and whoever Teague was playing with at the time. And he's like, he's just talking crap before the game. And he's like, you really going to let that white boy get the ball all the time? And then this punchline to the story of what Luka's teammate tells Jeff Teague is just all-time stuff. It's just all-time stuff. Again, I can't just be saying that, but it's really funny. Jeff Teague on the internet is a diamond in the rough. He's so funny.
His what he was talking about with the Jimmy Butler practice.
Awesome.
It's great because also it confirms my priors, so I love it even more. But he's a great storyteller. Go look it up if you're of age to be watching. Then maybe be the kids don't. Adults, go for it. This has been the morning sports desk for Friday, April